Hey everybody, it is Super J here, and it is now time for episode number 55 of Super J's True Confessions from the Desert, live with Super J and the Millennials. And today we have a new millennial. I guess we'll have to go ahead and bring him on into the millennial fold. We have Tiki, because he joins us for the show every week. So, want to say hi to Jonathan. Hey, JG, what's going on with you?
Doing pretty good.
Yeah, you have a pretty good, productive week this week?
Actually, yeah. This week has actually been pretty chill. I don't know. It's been pretty chill.
Cool. Well, today we want to do what we always do, and in keeping with sharing the love, we want to wish all of the fathers happy Father's Day, first and foremost. We want to thank you guys for joining us, those of you who are fathers and have decided to pop in. So we're not going to hold you long, because we're going to, I say that all the time, don't I? And then you're like, it's not true. I'm going to try my best not to hold you long. Today is just a very light and airy day, but we want to say happy Father's Day. We honor the fathers. We honor those of you who have gone that extra step and that extra mile, who take care of everything, you know, regarding their families and their children. I also want to say happy Father's Day to some of we moms. I honor myself on Mother's Day and Father's Day. Just saying. Because if I got to do the job, then hey, I might as well. I might not necessarily have the gender, but I definitely do the job. So I want to honor all of those moms who end up doing a little bit of a double time and have a double job. And we honor you as well on this day. So today, our title, a topic, and like I said, it's just light and airy. It's called ridiculousness. Why ridiculousness? Because there's a whole lot of ridiculousness going on right now. So we're going to talk a little bit about some things that are happening. Let me acknowledge some folk real quick. Let's see. Hey, Soror Yolanda, and T to the Gray, Tony to the G-R-A-Y. All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to talk about some things that have happened. This week, actually kind of last week to this week especially, have been some really crazy scenarios that have happened, and I'm just really wondering, like, what is going on in the world, like with people. And one of my friends, I was talking to him, he always, like almost every day or so, I see him deleting, you know, people. He's like, I'm deleting today. And so I asked him, how is it that you have still people to delete? You know, you're like deleting every other day. And he said, good question. He said, I guess it's an abundance of stupid people. And then he said, correction, I delete every day. And I'm like, wow. So, you know, it just kind of was in keeping with what was going on as far as the theme this week. People are just not making good decisions. Let's put it that way. And it ends up in circumstances and situations that are just, you know, like in some you want to feel sorry for the person, especially someone I'm going to have Jonathan talk about. You kind of want to feel bad for them, but at the same time something in your know is just like won't let you, you know, sympathize, because you know that they are in this situation because of ridiculousness, okay, and pure stupidity half the time. So Jonathan went hiking yesterday, and he said, hey mom, I'm going to go hiking, blah, blah, blah. His car was down. He took my car. Actually, his car's really down now.
Yeah,
it's really
gone.
It's gone.
Gone.
But anyway, so he said, I'm going to go hiking, right? Now, this is like 3:30 in the afternoon, guys. And so I kind of had a feeling he was taking my car, because I said, oh, you going up to Red Rock? And he said, yeah. So I kind of pretty much knew he was going to take the car. But then, so I walked outside with the dog, and I'm like, that Negro took my car. And I was like, okay, so I'm stranded in the house, because it is too hot right now out here to do anything and to go anywhere. And so I'm craving like something, you know, I'm just like wanting some salty something that's not in my house. And I live very, very, very close to some supermarkets. When I say very close, I'm saying they might be a half a mile away this way, and maybe it's probably a quarter of a mile this way, and maybe a half a mile that way. And the one that I like better that's close to us is the one that's a half a mile that way. For those of you in Columbus or in the Ohio area, it's Smith's. Smith's is equivalent with Kroger's, okay? So some of you guys will know or be familiar with that. So I'm sitting in the house, and I'm like, daggone it, it is like 105 or 100 something. It's like hot out here. I'm like, I am not trying to walk from here just a half a mile, mind you, because Jonathan has my car. And so I'm sitting there just like twiddling my thumbs, getting a little, not really annoyed. I'm laughing at myself because I'm sitting here contemplating, am I going to go outside or no, I'm going to wait. So he should be back soon, right? So it's starting to get dark, and I happen to look up. I'm like, wow, it's starting to get dark. Where's Jonathan? And so then it had to be, what, 8:30 or something? It was maybe 8 o'clock, 8:30. It's dark outside now, right? And I'm thinking about getting up to walk to the store now because it's dark. And then I'm like, wait a minute. It's almost 8:30 at night. Where the hell is Jonathan? He's been out on this mountain for more than 5 hours. Like, you know, it didn't dawn on me until I was getting ready to take my hips and walk outside. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm not walking. It's been 5 hours. So I send Jonathan this text message. I'm like, where are you? Like, what the heck? I'm like, Jonathan, you've been gone for more than 5 hours. Did a freaking bear or mountain lion jump out and get you? What the hell? And so he didn't answer me, right, for a few minutes. And then it was like maybe 5 minutes or so after that. And he says, oh, I was just getting ready to text you.
Yeah, because up there you have no connection. Like, there's a literal line that you pass. It cuts off all your connection to your phone. So I just passed through the connection when I saw the thing come through. But I'm like, oh, I was actually on my way to text you as soon as I got there because I'm like, well, shoot, we're about to be out. Yeah, that connection sucks.
So he's like, well, I just got connection. And I'm like, well, what the heck? And so he says, well, I'm on my way home, right? And then he says, by the way, can I give a friend a ride home? And I'm like, I don't mind, but like, how far is she? Because I was then thinking, well, I'm going to go to the store. By the time you get here, you can just drive me back. But I'm still like, yeah, no, I'm not trying to walk. So he's in the car. He's sending me a message. He says, oh, she said she'll pay for some gas. I'm like, oh, that's great. That's nice. And he told me how far it was. And technically, in my head, it really should have taken Jonathan about another half hour to 40 minutes before he would get there and back. And that's because he says, well, she's about 18 minutes out. So that's like 36 minutes, right? Almost 40 minutes. And so it appeared that, I was like, well, how is it that, Jonathan, you have a friend that you're taking home when you said you were going hiking by yourself? Now y'all know my mind is like starting to roll around because I'm like, he been gone 5.5 hours, supposedly up in a mountain, and now he needs to take somebody home, give him a ride. And I'm like, how in the world did that happen? And so he sends me a text back. He's like, I'll tell you when I get home. I'm like, what? And so I'm sitting up there. My brain is just doing all kinds of things.
There's no way I could text you like that. It really was.
Because it was too much and he was getting ready to drive. And so then he says, I'll text you when I get home. And I promise you, I looked at a couple videos on YouTube or something, and I heard like something at the door. I guarantee you it felt like it was 10 minutes. All right? And I heard my dog, and then I heard the door, and I got a little nervous. And all of a sudden, because Jonathan walks on stealth, Jonathan is going to get a knuckle sandwich or a piece of wood to the head one day. Because Jonathan walks around here on tippy toe on stealth, right?
And that's because she always used to tell us to stop stomping on attack on time when I was little, so she just figured out how to not stop. I don't know.
Well, so all of a sudden this form, like just in my peripheral, shows up and it's dark, right? And I'm like, what the heck? And so I'm like, Jonathan, like, what are you doing here? Didn't you take your friend? I'm thinking, with the girl downstairs. I knew it was a girl, by the way. He didn't say if it was male or female, but I had a feeling it was a girl. I'm thinking, is the girl downstairs? Because I'm thinking, Jonathan, you just asked me if you could take a friend home. And I was like, oh, so you were already on your way when you asked? And he's like, no, Mom, it's been however long it should have been. I'm like, Jonathan, okay, something's going on with my head, because I promise you, I just sent you a text like 10 minutes ago. And he's like, no, Mom, that's about 30 minutes ago. So Super J, once again, is losing time. This happens, okay? That part. All right. So
I was like, no.
I lose time often, and it's really freaky and kind of, it's actually, most of the time it's funny.
It
but
is.
sometimes it's freaky.
It's a little freaky because I'm like, Mommy, no, you didn't. I'm like, what? And she was glued. That's the other part too. I walked in and she was glued to the TV, so I know she, like, the time zone, it didn't catch. Because sometimes when you're watching those videos, you're just watching them back to back to back, and you're not really paying attention to much.
Time just leaves you. So I was like, Jonathan, what happened? Why did it take you 5+ hours to hike up the little mountain? It usually takes us like maybe 2 when we're doing it on a good day, right? It's 5.5 hours. I'm like, and then how did somebody, who was this that was with you? And Jonathan says, take it away.
So, this particular day, let's just say I was bored. I was highly bored. I was like, you know what, I want to get a workout in. But we had just did a previous workout the day before, so I couldn't actually like do anything, lift weights. And I couldn't think of any type of body weight exercises. So I was like, I might as well just go hiking. Something to do, I don't know. So I'm hiking, and what I was doing for myself is I would race myself. Like, I would give myself a certain time that I can make it up to the top of the mountain and try to do a certain time that I can make it down.
So Jonathan has hinds feet, guys, because we've shown you some videos and some pictures of this mountain. You literally are rock climbing, okay? They're boulders and things, and you got to climb and scale. He bounds up the mountain. We don't know how he does it, but he does. So then,
yeah, I do. It's just fun for me. I don't know. It's like a puzzle, and the way I explain it is like it's a puzzle that I can create, and I just try to express myself by making a way through the mountain. So I was doing stuff like that, and I was doing it a few times actually. I was trying to like see if I can go up one side of the mountain, and then try to walk across the top, and then go down another side and see if I can still figure out my way down or whatever. I did it like 2 times, and on the second attempt that I went up and I was walking across to this back part of the mountain, as I'm coming down, I see this group of people, and they're kind of huddled up, and at first I didn't really know what was going on. I mean, they were kind of in my path, so I had to pass them eventually, but I didn't really know what was going on until I got a little bit closer, and I recognized that one of the people was actually down, like they're hurt.
So Good Jonathan with his army shirt and army canteen
I had a camelback, and
you kind of gotta, stop now because you look like help.
Yeah, pretty much. And I think the soldier in me kind of took over at that point, because at this point now that I can recognize that somebody's actually hurt, and I'm like, okay, well, my conscience is not going to do so well if I just look at these people and just keep going like I didn't just see that. So
and were you saying that you were hearing in your head the whole time?
Oh, in my head I was like Sergeant Rose, like, do the right thing, Graves. Do the right thing. And I was just like, Roger. Like in my head the whole time I was like, yeah, Roger that. So I go down there because, like I said, at this point I'm like pretty much on top of them. Where the mountain was going, there was a boulder that I was sitting on. I was literally looking over it at them. So I get down there. I was like, hey, is everything okay? You guys need help with anything? And the girl that was down was like, well, actually, I just fell. And I'm like, in my head, I was like, because they were already there now at this point. Where I'm at, they're already there, and she's already down. So I'm like, well, how did you fall? Because I'm like, in my head, I'm like, if you're already here, what did you do? Just sit down? Like, I don't know. And then she commences to tell me that where she was, there was a part of the mountain that was just a little bit of a lip. Like, you can jump down, but it's more of like a slide down. Like, you should really just kind of like hold on and just slide your way down. You shouldn't really jump. she decides that it would obviously be the best thing to do to jump off of this little small boulder onto another small boulder, possibly trying to kill herself. And
because if she misses them both, she's going down the mountain.
Yeah, like,
okay,
it literally was like this much away from the other edge that she jumped onto. And I'm like, in my head when she told me that, I just looked at the boulder, I looked back at her, I'm like, you are stupid as shit. But I couldn't say that out loud. Like, in my head, I was thinking that. Because I'm like, wow, you are really stupid. But
she was hurt,
But
John.
yeah, she was really hurt. She really was hurt. And in my head, I'm like, even though you're stupid, you guys need help. And she was like, well, I think we got it. And then the guy that was also with them, too, because there was 2 girls and a guy, the guy that was with them, he was like, yeah, I think I got it. We'll be all right. I'm looking at him like, okay, you just asked stupid. If I'm offering help, you better take this help. You are on a mountain. They're not even like halfway down. They're still high up on the mountain. I'm like, she has one leg. You don't weigh that much more than I do. You know what I'm saying? You're going to need help to stabilize her on the way down. Like, this is going to be a task. You're not going to be able to just do this by yourself, trying to hold somebody that's going to put their entire body weight on you as you're trying to go down.
While you're trying to climb down a mountain.
Because it's not even like
I'm telling you, these are rocks. You got to climb. You got to, yeah.
And I'm just looking at them. I'm like, you know what? Don't even worry about it. I got it. So I commenced to put the girl over my shoulder, so that now we're kind of carrying her in a cradle, in a sense, on the way down. And the other girl is directing us down the mountain, like letting us know where we could put our feet and things like that. And it was going to take a while because, I mean, you're holding somebody and, you know, breaks and stuff like that. So
mister, it takes me 10 to 15 minutes to bound up the mountain.
Yeah.
Now it's now taking him.
It took me an hour, almost hour and a half to get down the mountain.
With this girl and this guy.
And, I mean, granted, we were talking and stuff like that, but the whole time that they're talking, just like the way they were answering stuff and the conversation that I don't even know how we got to the conversation, but the conversation that we were having, the way they're answering stuff, in my head, the whole time, I'm holding on to her, I'm like, y'all are idiots.
Now, these are older people. They're not Jonathan's age. No. They're in their 30s. He's 24, you know. So these are like older people. And that's why what's recording in it, you know, what he's rehearsing in his head is you guys are like idiots because there's like no common sense. You're too old for this, in other words.
Pretty much. It's like I know people... As far as like age goes, I usually don't discriminate on that because I've seen some like older people that can lift ridiculous weight
and do all
kinds, you know, and do some pretty cool things. It was just the common sense of it all. Like there was no common sense whatsoever. The fact that the only reason I'm even here in the first place is you decided to jump off the side of a mountain onto the other side of the mountain and busted your ass. I was like,
did they have a belay rope? With no belay.
That was, like I said, I think in a way she was like, it was going to be funny or cool or something like that. I'm like, you're not on People is Awesome. This isn't what this is. You're going to die out here doing that. Like, that's not even cute. And like I said, I'm like, in my head, that's all going in my head. Because I couldn't say, because I didn't want to be mean. I'm not trying to be rude as I'm helping these people down the mountain. But in my head, that's all that's kind of going. I'm like, what in the world? Like, y'all are legitimately stupid. There's no way y'all are for real right now. Like, y'all gotta be joking. I mean, you're actually hurt. That's not a joke. But all the other stuff y'all saying, you have to be, like, being sarcastic or something like that. No. It was for real. That whole hour and a half down the side of the mountain was that kind. I was like,
ridiculousness.
Oh I'm like, I can't wait to get y'all down here so we all can just go.
So then you get down the mountain, and what happens? You look at her little friend.
Oh, I looked at her ankle, and it literally took me to a flashback of when I busted my ankle. Last year, matter of fact, around the same time, my ankle swelled up bad too. I was doing basketball, it swelled up bad. So I looked at her ankle, and I just like in my head, I'm like, yeah, that you're gonna need ER like ASAP. Like y'all need to go down to Summerlin Hospital, get that checked out right now. And she was like, I don't think it's that bad. I'm like, you don't? Okay, so once again, y'all are stupid, but okay. And now I'm like just dismissing her because I'm like, whatever. And I'm looking at the guy, I'm like, take her to the hospital. She's going to need CER. I'm not going to say it's broken because I'm not a doctor, but I've had this particular injury before, and I'm telling you that doesn't look good. And he was like, you know what? Good idea. I'm like, finally some common sense. Like, it's about daggone time.
And so then what happened?
But then there was the second girl that was there, and she was like, hey, you know, I'm just going to stay back because I don't want to, I'm not done yet. I want to keep climbing. And so I was like, okay, you can join me. You know, racing myself.
You can join me.
Yeah, I was like, you can join me. I'm racing myself, and I'm like,
y'all can't see that I'm winking my eyes. You can join me and bound up the mountain with me.
And I'm like, yo, like, I don't know, we were just bounding up and stuff like that, and by the time everything's all said, it was a fun time, and by the time it was said and done, things like that,
ready to go.
We were ready to go. Oh, there was a bonfire too. That was a cool part about it. I will say that part was pretty cool. There was a bonfire, and I'm like, yo, deuces or whatever.
He's saying goodbye to the girl.
Yeah, I was like, yo, deuces, and for whatever, like, I don't know. In my head, I'm like on my way out. I'm like, all right, cool, no problem.
Had fun. See you later.
You know,
peace.
It's good. I'm chilling, and for whatever reason, in my head, I felt, because like the way I was walking, I can kind of see in like my peripheral that she wasn't going nowhere. So I was like, okay, and I'm like I said, a lot of stuff. I have a lot of conversations in my head. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of stuff that's just going on in my head sometimes, and I don't always say it, but there's a whole lot going up there. And so in my peripheral, I'm like, okay, so is she like staring at? Like, I'm trying to figure out what's going on, because now I'm kind of freaking out. I was like staring at her. It's like, what's going on? And so finally she was like, yo, just saying, I kind of need a ride. Can I get a ride? Like, oh, I was just like, huh?
Can I get a ride?
And I was just like, yeah, let me ask.
Who does that? Wait a minute. Guys, he's a stranger. He just assisted with other strangers. She decides, I'm going to stay back. Her friends, her ride, they're gone. All right? She's going to stay back with, okay, yeah. Again, he had on his little army shirt and his little camelback, you know, so he looked semi-official, but not that official. He pretty much had on not much different than what he's got on, and he's just running up and down the mountain, so it wasn't like he was in gear or anything. So the first thing that goes into my head, now she's asking to get in the car with you and go somewhere. Anybody ever heard of stranger danger? And for me, I'm like, it's not even so much stranger danger with Jonathan being the stranger. It's this chick who does that. Okay, now she wants to get in the car with him. Now, I don't know this. He's telling me that, you know, it's a friend. I don't know who this is. But when he told me this story, I'm like, who leaves their ride, tells their ride to go, stays and hangs out on a mountain, somebody they don't know, okay? And then at the end of it, say, oh, by the way, can you take me home? I'm like, okay, that's ridiculous. And so he was saying all the while, she's talking about her friends, like she didn't agree with the stuff that they were saying and stuff, and kind of like they're dumb. But I'm like, I think birds of a feather right here is flocking together, because I think y'all are all a little special. But yeah, so Jonathan was kind of a hero this weekend, but it was still ridiculousness. If I'm just saying, just ridiculousness. So did she try to give you a kiss, John? Okay. All right. Just making sure she didn't put her paws on my boy. All right. So the next thing. So people, I'm going to tell you guys something that happened to me. And this is really serious. I'm really serious that this happened. And I'm pretty, I won't say that I'm upset, even though I should be furious. And my point to why I'm not really upset is because me being furious and exuding all of that kind of negative energy, it's not really worth it. But I was legally kidnapped the day before my daughter's graduation. We didn't talk about it on the graduation day or the videos and all that stuff, because it was Yakira's day. It's Yakira's time, and everything was about Yakira and celebrating, you know, her wonderful accomplishment. But Yakira and I, on the recommendation of someone else, and I'm not going to say who the someone else is, on the recommendation of someone else, got someone to do Yakira's braids. You saw her hair was nicely braided. It was really pretty, even though at the end of the day I kind of had to finish some of it. But that's neither here nor there. So we went to this person's house, and this person was actually a relative of the person who referred her to me, okay? So it wasn't no big issue, no big deal. And what was going on, we got there, we originally set the appointment for 9 a.m. And the girl asked, well, can I move it to 11 a.m.? No worries, no problem. Now, guys, this is Friday. Yakira graduates Saturday, all right? So this is the day before her graduation that she's getting her hair done. Now, it's supposed to take 5 hours for this job, okay? This is a 5-hour hairdo from what I understand. So I dropped her off at about 11:15, 11:20. And so I'm like, well, I'll give it about 6 hours. So I'm anticipating picking her up around 5:30, 6 o'clock. So at about 5:10 in the afternoon that day, and we still had some stuff that needed to be done with Yakira. I still had to order her cake and do some other things, right? It's 5:15, and she's like, Mom, she's not done with my hair. I'm like, well, what do you mean she's not done? How long is she going to be? And Yakira's like, she barely just got started. And I'm like, huh? What do you mean she barely just got started? And so Yakira took a picture and sent me a picture of her hair. And I'm like, what the hell? And so I said, well, how long is this going to take? You know, ask her how long. And so she said 8 o'clock. All right. Now, I asked 8 p.m. Now, as far as I'm concerned, from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., I'm already having a problem, all right? Just because the whole day is lost, and there was a lot of things that I needed to do, again, like with Yakira, to finish and get her ready for graduation the next day. So, Yakira wants some food. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to be on my way over there because it was around 7-ish, 7:30, and it was going to be 8 o'clock. So I drive over, and Yakira's sending me a text, Mom, she's not going to be done at 8, but I'm hungry, bring my food. So now it's like, okay, because this person lives about 35, almost 40 minutes from me, there's no way I'm going to go drop food off to Yakira and come home, all right? So I said, okay, well, we're going to go. I'll come on with you. Now, Skylar's there. Yakira's cousin is with me. We come on over, and we're sitting there. It's about 8 o'clock. The girl is like halfway done with her hair. So now I'm getting pretty upset, okay? And, you know, I contacted the person who referred her to me, basically stating, you know, I'm in a dilemma here. I'm having a serious issue that this situation is going to take much longer. She's only halfway done with her hair, and it's already well past 8 p.m. We got here at 11:15-ish. This was supposed to take 5 hours, and then I gave her the extension of 8 p.m. So, the person sent me a message back. This is her relative. She says, well, you know, you guys, at first she says, well, just leave, you know, pay her maybe for what she did. And she says, well, you know, she obviously had some mixed feelings. So she said, well, just do what you feel is right. But I'm like, okay, I don't really feel that I should be paying now for what's happening. But there's no way at 8 p.m., almost 9 p.m. now, am I going to leave with Yakira's hair not done, okay? But I got a problem now. I'm having a serious issue now. Okay, people, Yakira's hair was finished, and let's call it finished because it really wasn't finished. I still had to rebraid some stuff because some of it came loose. So the next day, I'm still braiding Yakira's hair. Yakira's hair got done, all the braids in it, let's put it that way, at 12:35 a.m. She went in at 11:15 a.m. on the 9th. She got finished at 12:35 a.m. on the 10th. I got a problem now. And so I sent a message and I said, I'm going to talk to her about renegotiating this price because this is really unreasonable. I have lost all kinds of time. I have lost all kind of opportunity. And so I send Yakira and her, her cousin and Skylar to the car. And I talk to the girl and I'm like, listen, I'm really having a difficult time here. For customer service reasons, the fact that this has taken over 13 hours and it was a 5-hour job, and I'm expecting it was 5 hours, but then 8 o'clock, and it is now almost 1 a.m. in the morning. I said, I don't really think I should be paying this initial price. I said, I think that we need to renegotiate this price. And so immediately she got upset, she got offended, and she's like, no. And so she starts getting loud. And I told her, I'm like, I was very calm. You guys, this is very surprising that I was as calm as I was. But I said, you know what? I said, I'm not going to argue with you, but I think that I'm only going to pay this amount, which was a little bit more than half, okay? I said, I feel that what has happened and my time and everything that I have lost far exceeds, what you're saying that I should pay. So, long story short, she continues to get loud, and I said, and she says, well, I'm going to call the police. And I'm like, that's fine, because if push comes to shove, all they're going to do is tell you to take me to court. Now, when I tell you there's only a difference of maybe a little bit more, about $40. Okay, we're talking $40. All right. And so I'm saying, yeah, I'm just not going to pay that tonight. And so she's continuously escalating. So I guess her baby daddy, whatever, this guy from Africa comes out talking about, oh, give me the blood diamond. I'm like, what the? So he starts going off, right? Now this guy is getting very belligerent, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to leave. If you want this particular money, I'll give this to you, but I'm going to leave. So this guy is basically, no, give her the money that you guys agreed upon. I said, well, there's a couple problems with that. We agreed upon 5 hours. Then I gave her an extension of 3 more. So that was 8 hours. It's 1 a.m. I never agreed to that. And so I will pay her this amount tonight. Because push come to shove, I might need this extra tomorrow because I'm going to have to do some different things now. And so he decides he wants to lock me in his house. They're locking me in the house. And he's going to stand in front of the door, and he wants to threaten me, and he's going through all of these changes. And I said, just as calm, I said, you do realize that by locking that door and keeping me here against my will, that's kidnapping. You do realize that, right? And they're like, no, whatever. So he's going off. And I said, okay, well, now I'm going to call the police. And so and now the girl had a little bit more sense, because she was like, because I'm like, okay, well, now I'm going to call the police. And they're like, well, call the police. We ain't scared of no police. I'm like, yeah, but you're kidnapping me. Just so you know, you're kidnapping me. And so I call the police, legitimately, for real. And I'm talking to the police, and I said, I am in the process of being kidnapped. I am being held against my will at this particular place. And so she's like, unlock the door, right? And so he unlocks the door and opens the door, and I'm talking to the police, right? Because he's still steadily saying, you're not leaving. He gets in front of my car, in front of my door. He won't let me get into my car. So I'm talking to the police. I told them exactly where I was. And they said, and I told them I have a 5-year-old in the car. And before I could finish, he says, is she in the car by herself, ma'am? I'm like, no. I have some other people. I was going through the litany. You didn't give me a chance. And so he says, okay, well, we'll be there as soon as we can. Then he asked the most interesting question. The police officer said, ma'am, who are you dealing with? And I said, excuse me? He said, who are you dealing with? Are they black? Are they Mexican, or are they Asian? I said, huh? I mean, it totally threw me. Now, mind you, they're yelling and screaming in the background. They are yelling and screaming. Right, and he didn't ask were they white at all. But they're yelling and screaming in the background, talking about, what they're going to do and all this other stuff. So the police are hearing this, right? And I said, are they black, Mexican, or Asian? I said, they're black. And they said, okay. We will be there as soon as we can, ma'am. And I'm like, what the heck? So I'm sitting there trying to talk some sense into the person, to this, and I'm like, look, I'm not arguing about it. I'm either getting in my car and I'm leaving, or we're going to wait for the police. And so, they're yakking, still threatening. I guess they didn't believe I called the police at that point. I'm like, okay. So he's not letting me get in my car. He jumps at me. He's lashing at me. Rush me, rush me. I look at him like, and why would I do that? Right now, you are 100% in the wrong and about to go to jail. So why would I rush you? All right? And so I'm standing there looking at him. I'm like, so you're not going to let me in my car? Okay. So then some neighbors came out and some other people. And I'm in a neighborhood that is not my neighborhood, guys. And it is a very, very bad neighborhood. All right? So I don't know anybody there. My babies and I, we are in the middle of the hood somewhere. And I'm not even going to really discuss exactly what kind of neighborhood it was. But it wasn't a good one. Let's just say that. Neighbors were coming out, people who are their people, but not my people. And I guess one of the uncles, her uncle came out. And he actually was like, oh man, if my nephew and niece was here, I'd be going off. And I'm looking at him like, my 5-year-old was here. You should be going off anyway because they're stupid. They're idiots. And so they kept screaming and fussing. And he's like, listen, what is she saying? He's trying to find out, what am I saying? Okay, what am I trying to get across to them? And he asked him, he's like, can y'all be quiet so I can hear what she's saying? And if it's stupid or ridiculous, then we'll deal with that then. And so I start talking to the guy, and he actually is like, thinking like, wow, she's making a little bit of sense here. And so he backed off. He did. In fact, he ended up, I don't even know where he ultimately went. But then the next door neighbor comes out. It's this guy. He's drunk, and he's like, "Oh, come on, let's it's all love here. We don't need any incidents or any. Come on, y'all." And he's trying to hug. He says, "You okay, baby?" He's talking to the girl. He comes up, "You okay, baby?" And I'm like, "No, actually, I'm not okay." And I said, "I'm being held here against my will. This is legal kidnapping. And I'm waiting for the police." Now, none of them, for whatever reason, want the police showing up. All of a sudden.
Something's going on.
All of a sudden. Because they know, and I'm dead serious. I said, yeah, at this point, they should be here any minute. And so one of the guys, he either said, well, I'm not that concerned about him. Either he said, I know how to bail, or I got bail. And I'm like, okay. But what he actually did is, I think he was talking about he knows how to bail, like get the hell out. Because he just disappears altogether.
He said juices, y'all.
Right, he was just gone all of a sudden. And so because the police were coming around the corner at that point. So the police do show up. They come around the corner. They see me. I'm standing down near my car. And they come to me, of course, first. And they're like, who called? And I'm like, I did. And so they start talking to me. They ask me what happened. I legitimately told them the truth. I said, this is a dispute over a service issue and payment for that service. And I said, now, I made an agreement, we had made the agreement that this was going to be the price for this service, and it was told to me that it would take 5 hours to do it. My daughter graduates tomorrow. This is why the girl got mad. Let me rewind real quick. She got upset because she says, well, why would you sit there and let me get done? Because I'm not going to let you not get done. How about that? How dumb is that? My daughter's graduation is tomorrow, and you're not going to finish her hair. No. And so I'm like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. So I'm telling the police, it was a policewoman and 2 males. So the guy, they're a little more quiet, but they're still kind of, flexing a little bit. And this one big black police officer kind of steps up there where they are. And while they're talking, they're kind of addressing the group up on the porch or the steps up there. And they made the comment asking the girl, was this particular guy involved in this? She says, well, who all is involved in this? Is this guy involved? And so she's lying to the police. She says, oh, no, he didn't have nothing to do with it. I'm like, yes, he did. That's the person who was kidnapping me. That is the reason for the call. And so, the police officer, and I understand it because now I'm like, yeah, no, that's not true. He's like, you need to be quiet. And I'm like, okay, I'm just saying. And so he came close to me. He's like, listen, I'm telling you to be quiet. Are you not going to listen to me? And I'm like, can I get in my car? How about that? I don't need to be in any of this right now. Can I get in my car? So they're like, go ahead and get in your car. Now, they didn't say get in your car and leave. I was going to get in my car and leave. But I said, you know what? They actually didn't say leave. So I got in my car. About 20 minutes goes past. They're talking. They're going through things. They had already written up a complaint and all this stuff from me and all this other stuff, right? And so the police woman comes over to my door and she says, what were you going to pay her tonight? And I told her what I was going to pay. And the police officer says, yeah, well, that's what she's getting tonight. And I said, okay. And so I gave the money to the police officer, who in turn, I guess gave it to them, and she says, you can go. All right. So I leave, and now I'm talking to my friend because this was my thing. This was my position. I was not paying that night. But there's something about my word, okay? And because this was someone's relative of someone that I knew, at this point, I know y'all going to say, I'm being ridiculous now. There is no way I should even be considering paying a dime. I've been held against my will. I've been threatened in front of my children and everybody else. They're blocking me from getting in my car. If nothing, thank God Jonathan wasn't there, because somebody would have come up missing. Then my boy would be in jail for life because, of ridiculousness.
Oh, I'd have killed some folks.
But for real. So Jonathan actually just happened not to go. I didn't ask him to come. I just asked the cousin because she had just gotten in town for Yakira's graduation, and Yakira wasn't there. So I said, well, do you want to come? And she's like, yeah. So I'm thinking, I contacted my friend, and I was like, listen, I will bring the balance of that money to you. I said, because that's what I said I would pay. I'll give it to you. I said, I don't feel safe there, and I have some serious, significant issues. And if I go back, I probably this time really won't go back with myself and just babies. Okay? So I'm like, I think it's probably wise that I just bring this money to you. Let's make some arrangement. Now, I know y'all are saying, why the hell are you trying to pay? Because that was my word. I said I would pay. All right? I just wasn't paying it that night. Okay? I'm like, yeah, no. Here's the thing. My hours, if one of you all were to come to my job, Lifetime Athletic, and hire me as a personal trainer, you would be, my rate there, and I didn't set it, but it's $110 an hour. All right? So let me help you understand something. We're now 13 hours in. All right? I was told 5. I allotted 6. There's still 7 hours here. 7.5. Now, what I'm thinking is, not only do I not owe you anything, you need to be paying me. Because at this point, for my time, if you were paying for my time, you owe me freaking $770-something at this point. Period. I don't even know why we're discussing anything. I don't know why I'm thinking about giving you any money. But I had already told her, when I was saying I wanted to renegotiate, that I was going to give her a certain amount. And so I did that, and it wasn't until a couple days later that I was able to get in touch with my friend, and I took her the money. Jonathan kind of rolled along with me on that one. And we were just talking about some things. And so I was like, you know what? I really like my friend, and she really had nothing to do with this situation. But I said, I'm contemplating, I think I got to cut her off. I got to cut all of them off. I said, because at the end of the day, what if I am with her and I encounter them, because they're related, right? And that's how I met him in the first place, because she was with her relative. And so I was like, yeah, I've been talking to Jonathan. And he's like, well, Mom, the way I see it, she kind of condoned that behavior, because she's not telling you, don't come over here and pay shit. She's not saying that. And I said, you know what, John? I said, at the end of the day, I said I would pay it. So I'm going to take it over here and I'm done. But I think I am completely done. And so the person who introduced me to my friend, who's sent me to her relative, I contacted him and I was like, I want to talk to you about something, and I just think you're not going to be happy, because what's going to happen, this guy, he's kind of the kind of person who takes responsibility for stuff. So if I didn't tell him what happened and he found out, he would be upset. If I do tell him what happened and he gets an understanding from me, he's going to still be upset, but he's going to feel responsible. So I sent him a message. I said, I just need to talk to you about something. I'm not sure that you'll be too happy about it, but I'm going to talk to you about it. And he says, okay, I can't talk right now, da, 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 da. So in the meantime, I talked to his best friend, and he was like, yeah, he needs to know that. And yeah, maybe you need to cut them all off, and because I'm like, yeah, I hate to cut her off because I love my friend. I very quickly developed a bond. She's so sweet. She's really wonderful, and I love her. But she's got some lunatics for relatives, and I'm just saying. And she might be watching this right now. Hey, this is how I feel about it. We were supposed to talk about it. We haven't really had a chance to really talk and sit down about it. But it's like, So I haven't cut her off because, again, I'm in betwixt and in between. She was not personally responsible for what happened. My son says, yeah, but Mom, she is not really seeming to be responsive to you and like on your side, because she's agreeing that you need to bring her the money. And so I was like, well, all right. But so that happened, guys. That happened. So yeah, I was legally kidnapped for about 90 minutes the other day. Now, what's interesting about that, I was just as calm, in fact, probably more calm then than I am now. And I think I had a meeting with my doctor. I had a meeting maybe with my doctor like on Monday. And who was I talking to? Because I didn't see that doctor. I don't know who I was talking to, but I was talking to some kind of physician, kind of like a medical personnel. And I don't remember who it was, but it couldn't be who I'm thinking it was, because remember I tell you I lose time. Anyway, I was talking to somebody and I said, it might have been my sister. It might have been Cynthia. I don't know. But I was like, I can't believe how calm I was during this time. I said either I was just extremely exhausted, because people, by this point, we had gone through a whole week of all this kind of craziness and preparation and doing things. And then this particular day, I had been up for probably 24 hours at that point when I was deciding to have this conversation. And so I was like, yeah, I don't know. And I said, I'm really amazed that I didn't, how you get an adrenaline rush when you get upset, and I didn't have any of that. I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to argue with you guys, but you're kidnapping me now. So just as matter of factly as that, that's probably why they didn't think I was serious. You're kidnapping me now, so I'm going to call the police. I wasn't screaming. I wasn't going off. I wasn't, I'm like, yeah, just as matter of factly. But like I said, the girl had some sense, because she recognized, dude, you really did lock her in this house.
Idiot.
Right. Idiot. Ridiculousness. All right. So that happened, right? So we're like kind of looking at the world and looking at people like, what is going on in the world? People feel entitled. People are just idiots outright and make really, really bad, idiotic decisions that are causing them, to hurt themselves. And, and then I began to think about myself. I'm like, well, how ridiculous am I being? And, I honestly, I see it both ways. I see the side of me that's like, she don't get shit. She shouldn't have got what I gave her. I see that side of me, but I also am more inclined to deal with the honorable me, who I am, my principles. My word is my bond. Again, I told her, I'm not paying you this tonight. I didn't say I wouldn't pay it at all. I just said I wouldn't pay it that night. I said, I'm not doing that. And so, because I had given I had made an arrangement, I made an agreement, even though I feel that the agreement was more than breached, way more than breached. And I haven't pressed any charges. But technically, I could press charges against this guy, and he actually could go to jail for some counts of kidnapping. And so idiotic. Really? But I did have a sense of peace and a calm, and so it was my situation. So this is what I told her. I said, I either had several angels, and this is what she said. She says, I'm agreeing that you had some warring angels between you and them. And she was like, and that's why, first of all, he couldn't touch you, because he kept rushing me, guys. He got this close to me with his hands. This close. I don't know if y'all can see that. This close. Within about an inch. With his hands. But his hands could not touch me. And that's what the police officer asked. She said, did he put his hands on you? And I said, no. Actually he didn't. I said, he rushed me. And she said, but did he touch you? Did he put his hands on you? Because I'm sorry, if he had just touched me, he was already more than going to jail. She was already getting him.
He put his hands on you. When you fell back, did he
catch you? When you fell back, did he catch you?
Clutch at you. Is all I'm saying. You know what? I damn sure think he did.
No. But and I wasn't I'm not going to lie. I was like, actually, he didn't touch me. I said, he just prevented me from leaving the house first and foremost, and then he would not allow me to get in my car and leave. And then they're threatening to vandalize my car, cut my tires and do all this crazy stuff. And for whatever reason, they weren't able to do that either. So my sister, for those of you who really believe in angels, because I do believe in them, she says, Jill, you had a supernatural peace because you had more than a backup. You had so much backup that you didn't even see how much backup you actually had. And I remember there's a Bible story, and I can't remember who it is right now off the top of my head, but they were facing an enemy, and they felt that they were totally outnumbered, and the Spirit of the Lord said, look over here, and there was a whole host of angels that was ready to fight for him, right? And that's kind of how I felt that kind of ended up, because when I was thinking about it, like, I had not one adrenaline rush. I didn't raise my voice. I wasn't scared. I was not even nervous. And I was like, that's actually kind of strange. Could it possibly be that I was that exhausted? And she says, no, you were that protected, and you just didn't know. And so I was like, wow. So I feel like there were some good things that came out of that. I was able to maintain my integrity for all intents and purposes by not sending the guy to jail that I could have sent him, and he would definitely gone, because if he had touched me, he was done, and that wouldn't even been on me. The police officer, the female, she wanted to gank him then. She wanted to snatch him up right then and there. She was done. But, the two males, I don't know what came out about it, and maybe they did charge them with something. I don't know. All I know is it got real quiet up there with nobody saying nothing, and I really couldn't hear the police officers talking, and the next thing I know, the policewoman's like, okay, you can leave. And she did say, if we need to get anything else from you, we'll contact you, because she took my information. I said, okay, and I left. So yeah, that happened, guys.
You're lucky.
And I was talking, okay, so this is the thing. Let me go back to this part. The part where the police officer asked me, who are you dealing with? And, okay, somebody's going to get offended with the joke that I made with my kids who were traumatized because they're sitting in the car observing all of this, not knowing really what to do. And she's like, Mom, Yakira's like, Mom, your body language wasn't telling me if I needed to call 911, like what, and I didn't know if you called. She says, you weren't giving me because I'm usually, my body talks. Usually, even if my mouth is not, you're going to see something happening. You're going to see me escalate in some way, shape, or form. But she was like, you were not even acting like you. I said, I was actually acting like Jonathan. I was acting like Jonathan in a situation where it's not really that much of a threat. Because Jonathan is actually very calm. But Jonathan will also kill you quietly. So, very calmly kill you. And I'm not, hey.
That's why I said I'm lucky I wasn't there, because they would have been gone.
I'm lucky he wasn't there. And he's lucky he wasn't there, because...
Dude would open his mouth, swoop, gone.
Yeah. So I was actually happy that Jonathan wasn't there, because I already know. He teased about his dad. He'll talk about he's a killer. And I'm like, yeah, Jonathan, that would be you. That's not your dad. Even though, I don't know. Anyway.
I don't take chances. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, you're threatening his mom. You're actually holding her captive in a house, locked her in. You don't know what's going on behind that door. And so, yeah, that would not have been a situation that I think he would have handled the way I was handling it.
Not that time.
Right, yeah, I'm not really, but yeah. But so they said, are you dealing with black, Mexicans, or Asians? And so I was telling my daughter and my niece this in the car. I said, do you know what they asked me? And I told them, and they said, well, what was that all about? I said, well, I'm looking at it like this. They were like, well, if it's black or Mexican, we kind of already know what to do, and we know what we need to, how to handle and appropriate the situation. And she was like, and I said, well, but if it was Asian, they was like, ma'am, I'm sorry, you need to accept your fate. You dealing either with the Yakuza or the triads. We ain't coming. I was like, oh man. It would have been like if I said Asian, like, I'm sorry, ma'am. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Because think about it. This might be a stereotype, but I think it's actually true. How often have you ever heard Asians calling the police?
Like
never. Never. Not on each other, anyway. They kind of have their communities, and stuff is dealt with the way stuff is dealt with. They have a different culture than we have. And so I honestly, while I was joking about that, I really think there may be some legitimacy there that if I happen to say Asian, they may have had a different response.
Who?
I said, yeah, we're not.
Sorry.
We're not coming out there. No, we're not doing that. Because one of our kids might end up missing. I don't know. But yeah, I think, yeah. So... Now, I know nothing about the triads. I know nothing about the Yakuza, except that they exist. That's all I know, okay? I don't know anything else except they exist. So, there it is. Ridiculousness.
Oh, the other one would be literally just, 15, 20 minutes ago? We were at
what happened 15, 20? Oh my gosh.
We were at the daggone phone store, and we're trying to get my sister's new phone because they did the same thing essentially to me where your phone is broken and it's on warranty, so they allow they give you a new phone. It's not that hard. But what happens is they tell you it's either supposed to come in like 1 to 2 business days or 2 to 3 business days, and they'll send you a text message when it arrives at the store.
Both time they have my phone number for the text message.
Funny thing is, text messages don't go to her phone. They go
never
to our phone.
Right. So I never get a text message.
Y'all are idiots because you send the text message to the phone that we don't have. Really? How we gonna know?
So look. I saw the guy the last time though. He pushed the button. It is a computer program that automatically sends this text. But I don't. And he asked, "What is your phone number?" Just like he did when Jonathan. He says, "What is your phone number?" Both times. So I think it's a computer program error. I'm like, yeah, because we've been waiting for a week for something that was supposed to be there within 2 days. And I'm like, let me go get Kira's phone. She's in Ohio, and she keeps calling me, Mom, did you get my phone yet? I'm like, oh, I'm going to get it tomorrow. It's been a week, and like, I've just forgotten. I just forgot. And so I told her I was going to go first thing today.
Yep, and we got the phone.
But yeah, I'm having just a little issue with the world right now. And the biggest piece of ridiculousness right now, no, my biggest piece of ridiculousness started on January 20th of this year. I think everybody has gone crazy because we got an orange Cheeto number 45 as the president. I don't know. I think everyone has just
tripping,
gone crazy. It's just.
It was funny though. There was this old lady in the store. The old lady. And,
oh my gosh, that's what happened in the store. Okay, let me tell y'all this story.
It was funny.
Let me tell y'all this story. Oh my gosh, that was funny. So you know, I don't know if any of you guys have ever been to a T-Mobile store, but they have these little center desks that have a little computer and things. So each little station, that's where the customer is. So I'm at the station where he's setting up and doing the exchange for the phone. So I took out my billfold, my little wallet, because he needed my ID and also my credit card because I was getting ready to pay. It's like $5, right? And so I set my wallet literally right on the little console. Now, I'm not even a whole foot away from my wallet, right? Because my wallet's here. I'm in the front at the credit card machine. Jonathan is on the other side of the station, kind of leaning on it. But he's close toward the side where my wallet would be, right? So this older Caucasian lady, she's walking up, right? She looks at Jonathan, she looks at me, she looks at my billfold. She's like, oh, ma'am, is that your wallet? And I said, yeah. She said, oh, well, I used to work in the casinos. You might want to just, you know, you should never leave that. Even though you're right there and it's very close to you, somebody could just steal that right away from you and you wouldn't even know it.
I just looked at her and was like, you stupid.
And I was like, okay. I said, yeah, I guess that's a good point, right? And so the guy who's tending the stuff, he's, you know, the salesperson, he's standing there, and I'm looking at him, and he starts smiling because I think he kind of knew what was getting ready to happen. Because I said, you know, John, because Jonathan was sitting there like this. I said, you know, she's probably talking about you.
She was like, oh shit, it's the nigger.
Nigger, get girl, you better get your wallet. The nigger's there. He's eyeballing your wallet. Now, what's funny about that is Jonathan would be able to deal with somebody and get to somebody way quicker, even though I'm right there, than I would have been able to, which is funny. But she was like, yeah, they can steal it right from under your nose and you just wouldn't know it. He was the only person there. I hollered. I'm sorry. I had to laugh, y'all. That was funny. I was like, Jonathan.
I was like, yeah, she was talking about me.
You was looking a little shifty and shady there, and she was trying to protect my goods.
I don't even know how. I was on the phone. I was paying attention, but I wasn't really paying attention because I didn't think anything was wrong. I'm on the phone, and I'm like kind of just like leaning over looking at my phone or whatever while they're fixing the thing. And I'm like, I hear her, but in my head, I'm looking at her like, you better not touch that wallet. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, you a little bit too close to this area. You might want to touch that wallet. She don't talk about me taking the wallet. I was
like, you never know. Someone could just steal it right from under your nose because you know there's someone standing right next to it, like kind of eyeballing your wallet.
I'm like, lady, I'm eyeballing it because if somebody steals it, I'm knocking them out. So.
I was dying. I'm sorry. I had to laugh. And the salesperson, he couldn't help but laugh. He had to laugh because if you guys saw it, it really, I mean, you know, and unfortunately, what that does is it just speaks to the racism, the stereotypes, the just ridiculousness that is going on in our society. She was concerned because my son, a black male, was standing at the station and my wallet was sitting there. My son was standing with me. But no, to anybody else, that wasn't my son.
That's the nigger.
That was the nigger in the store. The only one in the store, too.
Because there was a bunch of white folks.
Well, there was a couple Asians. There was one lady, or Mexican.
Probably Mexican.
Maybe Mexican.
They didn't look like it. They were some fair-skinned Mexicans.
Yeah, it was so, yeah.
That was funny. I'm sorry. That was funny, though. I just started laughing. I'm like, this old white lady crazy.
I said, Jonathan, you know she's talking about you.
I was like, this
because she kind of, it was just her gestures, right? It was just her gestures and the way she was, guys, she was talking about him. And I was making a joke.
I knew she was talking about me because she looked directly at me. I was just like, oh, damn.
I was making a joke that she was talking about him, but I think she actually was, and it was just the funniest thing. But yeah, so we just decided we were going to call today ridiculousness because there's just some ridiculousness just going on. Yeah. And I think every day it gets more and more ridiculous. But I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy to be safe. I'm happy that nothing happened with my children. Nothing happened to me. You know, everything is good. And I thank God for angels. So with that, unless you have anything else to share, I think we're going to tell everyone to go ahead, spend the rest of your Father's Day together. We love you guys. We are so excited that you spent a little bit of your Father's Day with us here on Super J's True Confessions Live from the desert with Super J and the Millennials. And we are going to bid you adieu. Don't get into trouble this week. Keep sharing the love, not only for other people, but most importantly, toward yourself. Do something good for you this week. Okay? All right, everybody. Thank you. Love you. Bye.